all signed the agreement. Nintendo can brick your Switch console 1 or 2 if you pirate any game or if you mod their software. They released an update actually yesterday that basically says Nintendo account services, which basically includes Nintendo account from games to DLC, products, app services, and more. And the meat of this is the crazy part right here. The meat of this, it says that for a Nintendo product, the Nintendo app, or pretty much anything Nintendo, you must not bypass, modify, decrypt, defeat, tamper, or otherwise circumvent any of the functions or protections of the Nintendo account services, including through the use of any hardware, software that could cause Nintendo account service to operate other than accordance with its documentation intended use. This means yesterday we just signed something that basically says anything we do that Nintendo doesn't want us to do, unintended, whether it's anything really. Customization, if we wanted to make a custom shelf for it, if we personally want to do that, we're not supposed to. And if we're connected online, that's a big thing. If we're connected online, they can brick your console, where it's basically just where you can look at it and it does nothing. It's just a weird precedent where we're paying $500 for something and then we can't do whatever we want to it. I understand piracy completely, but there's a lot of other things that you can do that don't involve piracy.
Yeah, so I mean, guys, this is absolutely horrible stuff that we are now witnessing. Nintendo basically can brick your console for any reason that they choose to. They can take your games away, but the main thing is they can brick your console, both the Nintendo Switch 1 and 2, evidently now, based on the new terms of agreement that we have now signed. Yes, I also did sign it after saying I would not, and I'll tell you the reason why. My lawyer actually advised me to comply with Nintendo. So we'll get into the reasoning of why did my lawyer tell me to comply with Nintendo, sign the agreement, and how this is going to affect everything going forward, not just for me, but for all other Nintendo fans. We actually have a video from Fantavision. We're going to watch his video because he goes into a bit more detail regarding the situation. And don't forget to follow me on Rumble. My Rumble will be linked in the description of the video so that you can go follow me over there. If you want to learn about crypto, you should check out Anger's Crypto Academy, where we'll teach you how to buy, sell, trade, and invest in crypto, make massive profit, and escape the rat race. It's linked in the description of the video. Let's go ahead and jump into Fantavision's channel, and his channel will be linked in the description of the video also, so you can go check him out and support him.
Today, another news story about how Nintendo absolutely hates its fan base. Nintendo has recently changed the terms of service on the Nintendo Switch, and of course will be applicable to the Switch 2 as well, that if you modify this in any way, run anything on here that Nintendo says you can't do, doesn't, explicitly tell you and give you permission to do with your system, they are now threatening to deactivate your system. They give this big long list of things that you're not allowed to do with the Switch. Hacking the thing, emulation, a bunch of different things. And they end it with, I quote, "You acknowledge that if you fail to comply with the foregoing restrictions, Nintendo may render the Nintendo account services and or the applicable Nintendo device permanently unusable in whole or in part." I understand if you want to ban someone for doing tampering and cheating and whatever the hell with their game on their system. You want to keep them off the servers. You want to punish them by taking away their Nintendo account. That's fine. They still have a Switch. They can still play video games. They haven't completely destroyed something you paid for and own. But when you start talking about deactivating consoles and bricking systems, that's where you've crossed the line. If they are allowed to do this, it essentially means you do not own your Switch. You are permitted to use your Switch as long as you follow Nintendo's rules. It is not illegal to modify your Switch. It isn't. Emulation is not illegal. Now, piracy is illegal, so if you start pirating games you don't own, if you start playing, I guess, more modern games, that is where you get into the legal gray and illegal area. But even then, that is not the job of Nintendo to be enforcing the laws, and I don't think it should be allowed of Nintendo to be able to deactivate your system for not doing explicitly what they want you to do with it. When you have a console, when you buy a piece of tech, you should be able to do whatever you want with it, as long as it's not illegal. And it's just absurd to me that Nintendo seems to continually be just stacking on top of all the other things that they already do that are anti-customer. And I just don't get it. I don't get it. A company that makes family-friendly games, has this clean, squeaky clean image, and honestly does put a lot of time and effort into their first-party releases and puts a lot of thought into their systems. Like it's so frustrating. Like I want to support Nintendo, but they make it so difficult when they do things like this. When they bump the games from $70 to $80. When they start taking all of the games that are physical, pretending they're still physical, and making them key cards. So you put it in, it sees that it's there, and then you have to download the whole game. Nintendo lately has been on a roll of doing the wrong thing. And I'm so done with Nintendo. I'm so done. This is why I'm not getting a Switch 2. I was already seeing the writing on the wall. I already saw the direction they were going. And they are going full anti-consumer. They are going full hating their fans. And that's just what Nintendo's been doing for a long time in so many different ways. But this is just blatant. It's just blatant disrespect to the people that supported you. Now they're on top. During the week.
So some very interesting things actually did happen. And I'll just show this to you. So my attorney, when I spoke to him, he told me to accept the updated user agreement. And I was like, I don't want to accept the updated user agreement. But he's like, nope. You gotta upset the updated user agreement. And we're gonna go over the reason specifically why he told me to do that. And it's actually pretty interesting. So you can see it on the screen here. This actually comes from we summarized it using ChatGPT, but it says your lawyer advised you to accept Nintendo's updated user agreement, but opt out of the arbitration clause to preserve your right to join a potential class action lawsuit in the future. If you reject the agreement entirely, you could lose access to your games and potentially forfeit your right to sue Nintendo, as continuing to use their service would be considered acceptance of the new terms. Opting out of arbitration ensures that if a lawsuit arises, you'll still be eligible to participate. Your lawyer also suggests sending the opt-out notice via certified mail and keeping a receipt as proof, since Nintendo is unlikely to confirm receipt themselves. It's a strategic move. Keep your games, maintain access, and leave the door open for legal action if necessary. And then it goes on to say, let me know if you need any help providing your opt-out letter. So my lawyer actually prepared the entire opt-out letter for me. This entire situation was wild. My attorney he specializes in intellectual property and rights. You might say, Angry, why do you have a lawyer that specializes in intellectual property and copyright? The reason why is because of the type of work that I do on YouTube. We constantly get things like takedown notices, like, oh, you don't have the right to do this. You need to write a rebuttal. So the reason why I have an attorney is so that whenever something like this arises, he basically does lawyer speak for me. He reviews everything. He reviews all of the stuff. And then he'll basically respond to YouTube, and then he has to put everything in a certain type of wording that in a certain type of wording that they'll respond to. Here's the craziest thing. So my attorney is actually one of the attorneys. He's actually this is the crazy things about it about these people. My attorney is actually one of those people that goes around getting videos removed from YouTube. I know you're like, what? Yeah, so he's one of those people that goes around and gets videos taken down from YouTube. So that's the reason why he knows how to operate the system to prevent if he can take them down, he can get them reinstated. This is the crazy. So that's the reason why I have an attorney that specializes in intellectual property and copyright. The crazy thing with the Nintendo situation is that when this happened, I said, yeah, I don't feel comfortable. So I went to my attorney that specializes in this. Interestingly, he had been monitoring the entire situation, specifically the whole thing with Pal World. He brought up Pal World specifically. He gave me a massive breakdown, insane stuff, analyze where he did a full analysis situation with Nintendo, and he basically provided that this was the best way to go about it. Or he also pointed out that if I did not accept, then it could also lead to further issues and escalations with Nintendo based on their behavior, specifically with Pal World, that they could come after me. So the smartest thing to do was to accept this, because if I don't accept this agreement, they could also say, well, you're no longer a customer, hence you can't sue us. Nintendo is a dangerous company. So I wanted to share all of this with you guys, just so you could see what's been going on. So I actually did accept the agreement because I had really no choice, and now I have to. Basically, I had to. It was the only options that I had, and I basically took the aid of the attorney, and then I'm going to send out the notice of arbitration rejection, so that they're aware that I reject their arbitration agreement, and I reserve my right to be able to sue them in a court of law. And I think that's pretty much where things are probably going to end up going. So I'm looking forward to any class action lawsuits that may arise very soon, because this is absolutely illegal what they're doing. I truly believe it's legal. They even basically say in their new user agreement that if any portion of this agreement is found to be illegal, the other portions of the agreement will remain in effect, which means that Nintendo is very well aware that this is what they're doing is potentially illegal. This is actually only happening, as far as I understand, in the United States and the UK, and the United States version is even much harsher than the UK version. This is not something that applies to the EU, because if they tried this in the EU, they would be torn to shreds. And yet here they are trying this in America. So you have to understand just how anti-consumer this thing absolutely is. That they are not trying this in other regions of the world. I don't even think they're trying this in some the only places that we understand this is happening right now is the United States and United Kingdom. And again, it's even harsher in the United States. The policies are even deeper in the United States, where they are telling you straight up they will brick your console. They'll brick your Nintendo Switch and your Nintendo Switch 2. So basically, you do not own these devices. It doesn't matter if you're pirating games or not. If you change anything about like this, anything related to the system, for example, you install custom shells, you change the software around. These are not devices. Basically, they're telling you this is not your personal computer. This is not your personal device. You are only authorized to play games and to use the device as we authorize you to do so. You may not customize it in any way whatsoever. You may not. It's insane. It's beyond insane. So basically, it's no longer a personal computing device. It is a device that is still essentially owned by Nintendo, and they are giving you a license to use your Nintendo Switch. Guys, this is crazy stuff. Basically, you will own nothing and be happy. So this is laying the foundation. We are going to need a lawsuit. Tell you right now, we are 100% going to need a lawsuit, and it kind of sucks because it's like you're just never in the right place. It's like, as we always, it's going to be a fight, fight, fight. We have to fight. Like, I'm telling you right now, someone has to fight. Someone has to do something about this. Someone is going to have to step up, because this sets a precedence where basically any device you own, they can do this with your cell phone, where basically they can say the same exact thing, where if you make any changes or modifications or blah blah blah, they can find whatever reasoning they want. They can basically brick the device. So now essentially you would not own your, you spend you spend $1,000 for a new Apple cell phone. Apple could do the same thing, and they can turn around. And Apple basically uses what we call proprietary parts. What proprietary parts means is that they're essentially these parts will only work essentially in like Apple phones. So they basically have been able to change the parts in such a way now where they not only can they like locate them, they can basically disable them and prevent you from using if not all of the parts, or most if not all of the parts in these devices now, from being used in other phones. It's crazy, or in other devices. It's absolutely insane, where they basically have this type of capacity of restricting the use of parts. So So what's happening now is Nintendo can do essentially doing the same thing where they're telling you you no longer own these devices. You don't own them. We own them completely. We own the parts inside of them. We will brick the device. We're just giving you a license. So you're spending $500 for a license to use the device. You don't own the device, you don't own the components, you cannot modify you cannot do anything with the hardware whatsoever. We are simply licensing you the ability to use the device. Guys, they can do that with computers, they can do it with everything that you own, where they can anything that uses electricity, they can now disable it. All right? This is crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. They can turn off anything that you own. They can take away. If this is not guys, if this is the problem, the major issue with this is not solely the Nintendo Switch, it's everything that we essentially own. Everything that we own. Okay? They can do it with cars. Okay? Especially these new electric cars. They can do it with your car, where you have a license to drive the vehicle, but you don't actually own the vehicle itself. So you spend $50,000 for a vehicle, but you don't own the vehicle itself. And the NPCs, the bots, will come in because, guys, we live in a matrix. Will step in and they'll start trying to validate these points and trying to force you to accept it. These are bots, guys. These are bots, and I'll have the bots in my comments. These are bots, 100%. They're non-playable characters. They're NPCs, all right? And they are there they are agents of the state, and pretty much any person can be used as a bot. If you go and you watch the movie The Matrix, it's laid out for you. If you don't believe me, I don't care. I'm too old at this point. The boomers have taken too much from me. I don't, guys. It's literally. Do you want to serve? Do you want to survive at all? Just to live? All right. So this is insane stuff. We are going to have to push back so hard. This is another reason, guys, where you need to have decentralize yourself from the system. And the best thing to do is to hold crypto. I keep warning you, hold crypto, learn about crypto, check out Angry's Crypto Academy, because this is a perfect example of why you don't want all of your money in the bank. You don't want all of your money in the stock market. You want your money decentralized. Learn how crypto works, because it doesn't matter if all the power goes out in the United States. Can you go to another country? All right. It doesn't matter if the power goes out in New York. Is the power still on in California? It doesn't matter if the power goes out in all of the US. Is the power still on in Mexico? Is this power still on in Canada? Is the power still on in Europe? Is the power still on in Africa? Is the power still on in Indonesia? Because guess what? Wherever the power is still on, you can leave as long as you can get out of the US. Oh, you act like there's no other country. All right. And it's not just a matter of being in the US it's basically whatever country you are in right now, and something goes to hell. If the entire world doesn't collapse, you can go somewhere else and you will have your money safe. All right. If your money is in crypto, if your money is in crypto and you have access to your private keys, you will always have money. You can literally memorize. If you want to, you can memorize your private key, or you can memorize your recovery phrase, which allows you to unlock your wallets if you don't have the access to your private keys. All right, and you will then restore your access. You'll then restore your access to your wallets. Okay, the blockchain is nothing more than a digital ledger that is verified over a system of computers known as nodes. All right, that verify every single transaction that's processed, and everyone in the world is able to keep a copy, have access to that digital ledger of every transaction ever made. That is the blockchain. And you guys need to learn this technology as quickly as possible, because you look at what Nintendo is doing, and this is the hell on earth. This is the you will own nothing and be happy that we've been warned about. You will not own your cell phone anymore. You will not own your microphone. The damn microphone that I'm broadcasting through right now to you, that it will be turned off. Everything will be turned off. Everything will be taken away. And I'm telling you, the fools, the NPCs will come to my videos right now with their BS. I don't care. I am too old. Listen to me. You want to go and live that NPC life? Go live that NPC life. These people, guys, these are not, you have to remember, these are agents. These are agents of the matrix, agents of the state that are there to force you and force you and shame you into behaving. All right, and accepting this while everything is being stripped away from you. You will have nothing whatsoever. You guys, you are the way that they are what they are doing right now reduces you to nothing more than an SLAVE. SLAVE. I mean, you will have less autonomy, agency, freedom than an SLAVE from 400 years ago. You think I'm making it up? I am not. I am not. You will have nothing. You can have nothing. We're getting to the point where even, guys, you won't even have access to water. You won't have access to anything whatsoever. You will not be able to live unless you, guys, unless you submit. We don't live in a democracy. We do not live in a democracy, nor do we live in a republic. We live under a federal corporation, and it's been like that since the 1800s. It is a federal corporation. Oh my gosh. If you think you've missed the boat on Bitcoin, think again. The crypto world is exploding with new opportunities. And while Bitcoin has already made its millionaires, there's still a chance for you to get in early on the next big wave. I've put together an exclusive guide on 4 altcoins that could change the game and change your financial future. These aren't just hype coins. These are real projects with groundbreaking technology and massive upside potential. This is your chance to get in before they hit the mainstream. But listen, crypto isn't just about getting rich, it's about freedom. Freedom from traditional banks, freedom from government-controlled money, and freedom to take back control of your life. That's why I created Angry's Crypto Academy. When you join the academy, you'll learn everything you need to know about cryptocurrency, how to buy, sell, and trade the right way, how to spot the coins that can truly take off, and how to use crypto to achieve real economic freedom. And here's the best part. When you subscribe, you'll get a free copy of my crypto blueprint. This is packed with valuable tips and strategies to help you get started, and it's yours just for joining. The link is in the description below. Don't wait around and miss another opportunity like Bitcoin. Those who act now will be the ones who win big. So if you're ready to take back control of your finances and start your journey to freedom, join Angry's Crypto Academy today. Let's make it happen.
They were groveling. During the Wii U era, they were desperate. But now they're killing it. And because of that, they're getting cocky and they don't care about you. It's ironic to me that the golden era of Nintendo kind of ended with the Switch. And it really, as a company, they were in their golden era during the Wii U, in my opinion. Now, I know that sounds strange because they were at their bottom. They were doing poorly with sales. They were struggling. But you got to see a company that the CEO cared about his employees. He cut his salary to keep people hired. He didn't want mass layoffs. They reached out to the community, tried to get as many content creators as possible involved with the Wii U, try to get people hyped. And they really worked with their fans. They didn't really seem to go down this greed path as much as they have once the Switch came out and was a big success. And the thing is I don't think that the Wii U era showed that Nintendo was a good company. I think in hindsight, I'm now realizing, oh, they weren't a good company back then. they weren't a generous company back then. Maybe Iwata was. I'll give Iwata credit. You know, cutting your salary to keep people employed, that's amazing. You don't see that anywhere. But all of that stuff they were doing was just desperation. It's not like they suddenly cared about their fans.
Well, something I have to point out here. In Japan, the Nintendo Switch 2 cost somewhere between 331 and 350 USD when you convert it from yen to United States dollars. Okay, in the United States, it costs $450 before taxes. So, so to be very clear, in Japan, they are well aware that you know the economy is sluggish in Japan right now, so they're taking that into consideration when releasing the device in their own economy. However, when it comes to the United States, they could care less about us, despite the fact that we are all struggling with the effects of extreme inflation. They're like, guess what? We want our money. Everyone's taking advantage of you. We're going to give you some more of that as well. That's the reason why they're also enforcing these policies even harsher in the United States than any other country because we're getting screwed harder than everyone else. That's how bad life is in the US. Nintendo, guys, the rest of the world does not like us. The rest of the world, there's so many Americans who like to pretend and act like this is the best country and everyone is, guys, the rest of the world does not like us. If America collapsed, a lot of other countries really would, besides America being the, policing the rest of the world and keeping the rest of the world safe. We're not liked. We are absolutely not liked. A lot of them don't even want us in their cultures. I'm going to be honest with you. That is the honest to goodness truth, because they watch television, they see the things that are happening in the US, and they're like, oh yeah, we don't want that over there. We might want to buy some stuff from you. We want your money. We want your money. We want you to buy from us. We want your money circulating to our countries. And even then, we don't want a lot of your garbage. We don't want that here either. All right. We want to build our own products. We want to protect our own economies. So really, they just want our money. The biggest thing that America exports are not high end things like Boeing jets. No, the main thing that we export in the United States are American dollars. Don't let anyone tell you anything different. American dollars basically fuel the rest of the world. The problem is that those dollars are used to help everyone else's economy, but we end up getting screwed, and then we end up with things like larger trade deficits. And again, this is just based on my research, as well as things that I've heard from our current administration. And the reason why I put this disclaimer in there is because of the platform that we're on and how they actually operate. But I'm just talking about that, and you can look into the trade deficit situation for yourself and do your own research. I'm not speaking facts. I'm just talking about providing my own analysis of what I've read. And again, you can go and look further into it. But this is the truth. The only thing that we export are our dollars. That's the main thing that we export. Dollars. It's not the only thing, but it's the main thing that we export. And we are screwed, guys. So that's why my lawyer basically advised me to comply with Nintendo. He said you have to do it, or else they could then turn around and say that, well, you're no longer a customer. We'll basically cancel your account. You're no longer a customer. And because you're no longer a customer, now it's going to be even more difficult to sue us. So you have to accept the agreement, then send in the notice opting out of their arbitration agreement, stripping you of your right to sue them. And then if a class action lawsuit does arise later on, you've preserved your right to sue them, and then you can go and sue the bastards along with everyone else. And this is, guys, this is a horrible company. Absolutely terrible company. Please do not buy a Nintendo Switch 2 for your kids. Please do not buy a Nintendo Switch 2 for yourselves. You heard me. Don't buy it. Get a gaming PC. It's too hard. I don't care. I don't care. Don't bring this piece of crap into your homes and give it to your kids so it can listen. There's a microphone that they can now that they will listen in on. They will listen on all conversations and record you and keep that. And if you did something wrong, they'll take action against you. You've got to be kidding me. Don't bring this piece of crap into your homes. Do not give this piece of crap to your kids. All right. Let them build a gaming PC, buy him a gaming laptop, or give him a game. Well, don't even give him a Game Boy, because that would still be supporting Nintendo. All right. Buy him a Steam Deck. Buy them a freaking Steam Deck. Buy him a Steam Deck. Buy them an ROG Ally, or Ally X. Buy them a Legion Go S. It's the Steam edition. There's a Steam version coming out. I think that's like $600. I don't know. All right, buy them one of those instead of giving them a Nintendo Switch, and don't get it for yourself either. All right, time to learn how. Time to get into gaming. Time to get into gaming. If you want a portable gaming device, get an ROG Ally, get a gaming handheld PC, one of these devices, like I said, like a Steam Deck, and game on that. The games are cheaper, and looking at the cost of the Switch compared to the cost of a Steam Deck, you can get a normal Steam Deck right now for $400. And a lot of times they go on sale during the Steam the big Steam sales, and you can get them for even less than 300. I've seen that. Granted, disclaimer, that happened when they were clearing out stock, but they usually do offer some deals, and at least that's what I've seen in prior years when they're having their large Steam events and they're making sales. So that's something just for you to consider. I really think that's really where we're headed right now, because if we don't take, guys, stop. This is it. This is literally it. All right. Don't think that Sony are the good guys. Sony are going to be doing the exact same thing. Doom Eternal, for example, that's shipping on the Xbox right now, Xbox Series S and X. Our Xbox Series X. For the disc version, on the disc, evidently, there's only something like 85 megabytes of data. Guys, that's a tiny amount of data. So basically what that means is that the disk only serves as a key card where there's no actual data on the disk, and it just basically authorizes you to play the game so that you're going to download. So you're going to have to keep the disk in the console to play the digital game. So it's only for people, idiots, who are like, well, I want physical. You don't own it. You don't own it. You can't play. There's no data on the disc. It's like the Nintendo key card. There's no data on there. And then the biggest drawback is that you will always need the disc to access the game. Jesus. So you have to keep the disc in the device to play the game. So it's even worse than having just a normal digital game. There's some who will argue, well, I mean, you technically still have some ownership. I can give it to someone else and then they can play the game. I can sell the disc and that's true. But granted, at some point that disc is no longer going to work, because it's no longer going to work, because eventually the game will no longer be available on Microsoft servers, because Microsoft is it seems extremely clear that Microsoft wants to get out of the gaming industry to some degree. So a lot of those digital games, it's not going to be forever. Will Steam still be around in 20 years? More than likely. Is it for sure? No, but more than likely. Will Xbox be around in 20 years? Probably not in the same state that it's currently in. It's a money losing operation for them. All right. They're looking to basically exit and kind of do something a bit different, where you can basically play your games, like PC games, on any device. Play your Xbox games on any device. They're really trying to kind of exit the hardware market right now and offload that to other developers. Okay, like this, like we keep on hearing about the greatest leap in the next generation. Like Xbox gonna have like the greatest leap, but the reality is that it's probably going. We don't even know if there will be another Xbox in the sense that we have today. It very well may be like a series of devices from companies like Asus that allow you to access your first party games through through that, because Xbox has Game Pass, and and you can access like PC versions of these games. I think Microsoft, the next generation, is basically Microsoft may be shutting down, and like they'll say, oh, for the foreseeable future you'll be able to access your Xbox games, but that it won't be forever. What's the foreseeable future? Like maybe 5 to 10 years. Maybe 5 to 10 years. Like you'll be able to access your games for like another 5 to 10 years, but those are hardware. Those are only licenses. So basically you're going to, that's the end of that. We're winding it down, and you're going to lose access to all of those games, right? You're going to lose access to all of those games, and then but hey, you'll still have Game Pass, man, and Game Pass is awesome, and maybe they might try to appease you with like some $200 credit for like Game Pass or their other titles. It's a load of BS. Like there'll be a class action lawsuit and they settle the class action and you end up getting literally nothing. You know, it's a load of total crap. Load of total crap, and the consumer gets screwed. Like this is, guys, our system is so nasty. But yeah, guys, what do you think regarding everything? Do you agree with what my lawyer advised me to do? Do you agree with the decision that I've had to go through with, that the best thing to do was actually to sign their user agreement, send a letter of arbitration, letting them know that, send a notice to them, letting them know that I don't accept um, their arbitration, and I preserve my right to sue so that I can later sue them if the need arises. Which, like I said, based on what they're doing, some, like, there has to be like users have to get together and basically, because this is setting a horrible precedence where, guys, you won't even own, like, even like your headphones. You buy a pair of Beat headphones, you will not own them. Do you agree that Nintendo is setting a precedence for other companies to follow, where you will essentially own no device, and every device will basically be presented as a licensed device that the company can eventually turn off, brick, and take away? Because that's really what Nintendo is also heading towards, a reality where, you have a Nintendo Switch today, but it's still what, but 10 years from now it may no longer work anymore, and that's just another way that they'll force you to upgrade, because you can't modify the device, so now it loses all value. And thereby, because, like, you look at the PlayStation 3 and all these other consoles, and people are still playing PlayStation 3, and they've modded it and all kinds of stuff, so they're able to enjoy their games and blah blah blah. You won't be able to do that with Nintendo Switch, so they'll basically, over time, they'll just disable it. Guys, like it's crap. It's crap. We're paying all of this money for devices that will no longer work, and they will never have any type of replay value. Because one of the great things with, like, buying a gaming laptop or something like this is, like, even when it gets old, you can always put Linux on it. Like, even my MacBooks, like, I have an old MacBook here from, like, a MacBook Pro from years ago, and I can just put Linux on it. I believe I can just get Linux running on it, and now it's an incredible device all over again. Great screen, everything, and it's running it's running Linux, you know. And that's how it is with a lot of devices as well. You can't, nope, no such thing anymore. All right, it's like, guys, this is a sick. It is a sick. They are sick and twisted company. Like, oh my gosh, they are so evil. Holy cow, are they so evil, y'all? Yeah, be safe, y'all. Be safe out there. Be safe out there. These companies are dangerous, and Nintendo is one of the most dangerous companies to ever walk the face of the earth. It is time to go PC. It's time to play PC games. And I'm just gonna say it. Nintendo is setting up. I've said this in the comments on a couple of other channels that posted these videos. Nintendo is now going to set off a brand new era of piracy that will put One Piece to shame. And I had people in the comments responding to my comments like, "The One Piece is real." Basically, that's something that Whitebeard, I believe his name was Whitebeard, said before he passed away. He's like, "The One Piece is real." One Piece is all about freedom, and because they're taking away all of our freedoms right now, you realize that this is where people are going to desperately fight for their freedom. And the goal of the NPCs, you know who you are, is to basically force you into obedience and submission. Let me know your thoughts. We'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away. And cheers.
Nothing says you care like crypto. Nothing can compare. Nothing says you care like crypto. Oh, nothing can compare to crypto.